Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro Rose. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are checking out this Marvel Legends Spider-Man sort of retro wave, but there is no denying that the figure in front of me today, it is a tribute to that 90s Toy Biz packaging. It is, of course, Rose. Now, I don't think Rose was in that Toy Biz line. I don't even think he was in the animated show. But at this point, I don't care. I'm just so happy to see this retro card make a return. It fills my nostalgic heart with joy. I hated the plastic-free packaging era. So Rose, Tarantula and Kraven are all on the way. But hopefully there is now room and potential for other characters on this card back. I'm thinking Chameleon, Vulture, Smythe, Blade, Punisher, Nick Fury, Doctor Strange. I'd take every character on this card back. I'm a sucker for it. I love it so much. But today we are opening Rose, and it's for the very first time in the Legends line as well. We have never had Richard Fisk, aka Rose, and yeah, it looks really nice on card. But I'm going to open this one today to talk about it and compare it to some other goons from our Rogues Gallery. So there he is in the packaging. He actually comes with a Rose accessory, a couple of interchangeable hands for his pistols, I assume, as he has two pistols. So it's nice to see a pinless figure with some accessories in this line, as this line is very lackluster for it. But again, it's all about the packaging here. It is beautiful. On the back, we don't get any wave association. We just get an image of Rose, and then we get a write-up that reads, Richard Fisk, the son of Kingpin, becomes an adversary of both his father and Spider-Man when he returns to New York as a crime boss known as the Rose. So as I said, always happy to add new characters. Let's get this guy open. Here we have the Rose out of the packaging with all of his accessories on the table, and you can see I went to the extra effort to switch to my black background so you can see that crisp white suit. You're welcome. So we'll look at accessories again in a second, but let me get the tape measure out so you can see how this guy scales, and you can see he comes to about exactly 6 inches tall, which is what we would expect. And yeah, he's very crisp and white, and can I just say, for a suited Marvel Legend figure, he stands up no problem at all. Like, without even trying, I can just move him around with one hand and he's going to stand. Usually I've got suited figures on the shelf that constantly topple over and I've got to articulate the feet. So I don't know if it's the new pinless body or the shoes or what, but this guy stands no problem at all. But let's do a quick comment on his actual character design. So as you can see for yourself, the character design is very simple. It is a white suit with the purple mask and the red trademark Rose. Very easily translated into plastic. So the Marvel Legend basically does a good job of representing what you see on the comic page. Zooming in, taking a closer look at the head sculpt, it is just very much a flat purple mask. I expected to see texture on there when I zoomed in, but then when you look at the comic, there is no texture on there. There's just a few lines to give the face a bit of structure. So Hasbro have got it bang on, to be fair. The glasses are sort of embedded in the head as well. You can see the structure of his nose and then a few lines just to give the structure of the head. But otherwise, it is just a very much a flat purple. There are a couple of crease lines on the neck there, and the head itself is on a disc in a hinge, so you can get him looking up, you can get him burying the chin, you get the swivel, but you don't really get any tilt or anything like that. But yeah, just a few lines to give the face structure, and then it is just a featureless face with the shades embedded in there, and then it is purple all the way around. The tie is done in a light blue, and then the whole jacket here is an overlay. Now it is quite a long jacket, as you can see, and it does have the structured sort of sculpted buttons and pockets, and then the Rose is the main event there, as he is the Rose. The arms are double jointed and pinless, so are the legs. So let's zoom out a little bit and see the articulation on this guy. So the arms will go all the way up. There is a bicep swivel, double jointed, pinless arms, and look at that. You can't be mad at that at all. The legs, pinless, again, double jointed. He can go all the way up to about there. You can force it to go back, but otherwise it's still pretty good. And then the boots, decent ankle pivot, and rocket, of course, and these are done in a nice sort of black and white. Very smart attire for the Rose. Now his gloves are done in a darker blue, just two fisted hands. There is a little bit of sculptured detail in there like the wraps, but they are just gloves all the same. But yeah, I am sure there are some articulation points underneath this overlay, but the overlay is like this whole thing like on top of the body. So there's probably a crunch in there, but you're not really going to be able to get it to work for display or posing because this jacket is a hard enough plastic to hold its shape. Is there a butterfly joint under there? No, it doesn't seem like that. There's just going to be a swivel, I'm sure. So you can still get the swivel because the jacket just doesn't stick anywhere to the trousers, so you still get the swivel. But yeah, otherwise it's very much just a flat white pinless figure with the black shoes, the dark blue gloves, the light blue tie, the red rose and the purple head. So very simple character design, but very accurate to what you see in the comics as well. So yeah, let's look at what else we get. Now I wrongly assumed he had two trigger finger hands because he doesn't. He has one pointing hand, which you can't hold anything in. You can literally just point with it. So yeah, one pointing hand. The other hand is a trigger finger hand, but it's also his only grip. So if you want him to hold his trademark Rose, then that is the only way you can do it, is in that one hand, in the trigger finger hand. And as you can see, it's a little bit loose, but just looking at the Rose real quick, if it will focus for me, looks nicely done. It's just simply a Rose in Legends scale. And yeah, he can hold it, so we can hold it closer to him, I suppose, next to the other Rose. So yeah, a little bit awkward as it's not really a tight grip. It's more a case of just literally balancing the Rose in his hand. So yeah, the leaves obviously make it awkward for him to grip as it is very soft plastic. But there you go, he can hold his Rose in that one hand. But what's confusing to me is he comes with one trigger finger hand, but two guns. So there you can see the gun. I'm sure it's reuse. You get one with the extended mag and one without. He holds it no problem at all. I do wish this hand did have the up and down point of articulation though, for a better gun wielding sort of pose. But yeah, you can hold the gun no problem. So there's one without the extended mag. Take that one off. So you just have options for your guns, but you can't hold them both at the same time. There's the other one with the extended mag. Both of the guns though do have the hole in the top, that little port, so you can plug in the blast effect or smoke effect that you get with many Marvel Legends. Overall, it's a decent pinless Marvel Legend figure that undoubtedly is a good representation of the character Rose from the comics. But what's confusing to me is that he comes with three things to hold, two guns and a Rose, but literally only one hand to hold anything. So you can't even get him holding a gun and a Rose at the same time. You literally have to pick. So again, it's a very, very minor gripe, but it just makes me think, like, why didn't we get an extra hand so we could hold a gun and a Rose? Like, I don't know. First comparison had to, of course, be next to Daddy-O. So here we have Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, next to Richard Fisk, the Rose. Father and son battling for the crime of New York. And yeah, they look absolutely fine together. Both got the tribute of wearing the white. But yeah, the Kingpin is an actual beast. Next up, not only another Spidey villain on the retro card, but another one in a suit. It is Hammerhead. And I wanted to show you that these two do not share any of the same parts. If you look at their legs first and foremost, both of them have pinless suited legs, but Hammerheads are a lot thicker and the sculpts are completely different. Same with the arms. Hammerhead has thicker arms with the pins and Rose has the pinless arms. So they are not using the same parts for the suited body. Even the overlays are different. So yeah, Hammerhead's taller too. So two sort of nearly pinless figures. We've just got the pins on Hammerhead's arms. Next up, one of the most frustrating Marvel Legends that exists. Not only is it a pretty boring representation of Chameleon, it is also on that horrible Marvel Legends suited body. Now, I'm sure for its time in 2015, it was absolutely fine, but in 2023, it's just not good enough. This guy, you can hardly get to stand on the shelf. Luckily, I'm a trained professional, so I can get him to stand, but he is ultimately very frustrating. He's got the thick pins, but as you can see, he is completely different with the Rose, with the pinless arms and the pinless legs, but they are nearly at the same scale. Rose is just a smidge taller. Obviously, both wearing a tie, but they have different overlays. He's got the suit jacket, he's got the buttoned up jacket. So yeah, hopefully this old suited body has been retired, never to be seen again, as they now have new parts like we see on the Rose here. And again, much easier to stand, even though both of them are essentially wearing similar shoes, but they are differently sculpted as well. And yeah, there you go. So we have an updated body finally. And then bringing them all back in just to show you an example of 3 Marvel Legends suited bodies. But please, Hasbro, if you are listening, we need a new Chameleon. Here we have a pretty underrated Marvel legend with Puma, who is of course in the Spidey's Rose Gallery. He is also who the Rose hired when he first made his debut in the comics, so these two have a connection. Here we have the Rose compared to a couple of other Spidey villains we have also gotten on this retro card with the Lizard and Mysterio. And here we have the only other figure I've reviewed in this wave so far. It is of course Elektra Daredevil, and unless one of these other figures shocks and surprises me, these two will probably end up being my favourite of the wave. Here we have the Rose compared to some of the Who crew, and I love how these pop on a black background. It is of course Frogman, Tigra and White Rabbit. And then last but never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal Fire Hank. Final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Wave Rose. Now, I love the fact that it is on the 90s Toy Biz tribute packaging. That's what makes it retro, even though he wasn't in the animated show and he wasn't on the Toy Biz line back in the day either. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm so nostalgic for that card back. I will take every Spider-Man character on it. And the figure itself is a solid representation of the character Rose in the comics. Not an A-list character, I give you that, but I love world building and adding new characters to our Marvel Legends collection. After 20 years of the line, we are still doing exactly that. And because it's such a simple character design, it's so hard to get wrong. It is very nicely executed. A pinless Marvel Legend as well, and a Marvel Legend suited body that stands. I'm just confused that he comes with one gripping hand and 3 things to grip, so you can't even have him wielding both of his guns like he does on so many comic panels. So yeah, a little bit frustrating, but overall very happy with what we've got here. And yeah, you let me know what you think. As always, you can love it or hate it. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Let me know though why in the comment below. And as always, if you like Marvel Legends, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And I'm on Twitter as well. Don't be shy. Tweet me. Sometimes Instagram breaks, all right? Dan Who Reviews. And as always, my name is Dan W, and I will see you on the next one.